I'm going to vlog a little bit as I walk away from Shoppers Drug, which is behind me there. There's their beautiful cosmetics department, which smells so nice when you walk in and ambushes you with all the fragrances that make you want to buy things. Anyways, Christmas Eve, Maple Ridge, British Columbia, Kwantlen territory, and the unsurrendered territories of the uttermost west, in the land beyond the mountains, where there are many secrets yet to unfold that they do not even know. For they lie here in BC, you lie at a place in between continents it's within a continent, between two continents spanning countries, one of them weak, with just a toehold on the Pacific, only 2 ports, on a very rich coastline. So I'm not concerned that British Columbia will become part of Alaska someday. I'm just concerned at how Alaska will be run, or whatever we become in between Alaska and Washington as part of an expanded United States. It's inevitable. I would hope that it comes in the form of a better United States, which I would support. You know, as the United States run by the Occupy, by that element, by communal government, community government, not by military empire. But the problem is the United States has an entire economy and labor force and mindset that they belong, you know, as it said with this Canadian Christmas carols from military bases and wishing them well all around the world on the one little bit of the CBC's Christmas programming. And they are Canadians overseas, those guys. They've got me wondering whether they vote. Doesn't seem like they've been able to before. Who they'll vote for? That's a good thing. You know, they don't realize that the Greens would bring them home and have them put them to humanitarian work and say, you know, peacekeeping only, peacekeeping only, peacekeeping only, humanitarian relief. Like right now, we should be flying our guys into Indonesia and helping out with this post-tsunami. Not that the Indonesian government isn't capable of doing it maybe better than we are. But we're now trained for combat. We're trained for war where we don't belong. And people talk about it as being grateful for them being in defense of our country. We're not in defense of our country in Afghanistan or anywhere else we are, like Mali. We are not in defense of our country. If anything, we're in defense of mining interests and the banks or the oil companies. That's where we are and why we're where we are. Don't anybody fool themselves that our national interest relies on the oil companies. That's such a vulgar fallacy. Only an oil company could have come up with it. And that's indeed the case. So, I'm going to not go my usual route here. I'm not going to go the highway. The Dooney Trunk Road is a trunk road. You know, it's a major route that was the previous highway before the Lougheed Highway. So, it's an older road. Lougheed was built in the 50s, I think. Just as a 2-lane highway, now a 4. And Dooney Trunk Road literally was the trunk road to Dooney, which was named for Edgar Dooney. But it was Johnson's Landing when it was first started. Merry Christmas! I'm slowly making my way to the bus loop rather than take the long way home around Walmart. Oh wait, there's a party in the act. What am I saying? Food and drink, and I have to put this down in order to cross the Dooney Trunk. So on Christmas Eve, I'm in the middle of suburban Canada, unable to join where I know my heart must be. I feel the rhyme flowing out of me. I was wanting to play music tonight, and somebody who was going to bring me some batteries, so I actually didn't go get them, which is what I was going to do. He didn't come over, so I had to go get some, and then I wound up losing my cane on the shuttle at the stop. At my last log, I had to go back, so luckily a transit supervisor named Bal took me back, and then eventually shot me around the different markets as to what was open, and I wound up at, say, Shoppers, where I was heading in the first place. Anyway, signing off. Okay, so I'm going to take the glasses off. Really can't see, but it doesn't matter because I can't see anyway. I'm going to continue on about British Columbia and the inevitability of continental union. And it's not that I want to see it, or that I've resisted seeing it, but I now understand it as a geopolitical inevitability because of the power of the United States and the political realities of British Columbia, which were just underscored by the referendum. We're not in a good situation. What distinguishes us from the rest of Canada is our closer contact and connection to China, which has been with us from the start. The Royal Engineers who came to back up the colonial government were brought here from Canton. They had built the railways after the Opium Wars there. That's who they are. The Navy had been in Callao, Peru. And they came here, the Royal Navy, Pacific Station. The link to China has always been there. You got to think of the years, 1843 when the colony of Vancouver Island was established. 1849, sorry, Victoria was established in 43. And then what was going on in China at 49 through 58. And what unfolded in California and also in Latin America. The Nicaragua bar on the Fraser doesn't have to do with Nicaraguans other than dead ones. You know, it's about American and French mercs that were there, the fruit wars. That might have been where John Centris is. And John Centris turns out, I looked up that name, he's Slovenian. And kind of notable in Slovenian history, the family anyway. So that's an interesting lead on BC history that nobody's really looked at. I know Daniel Marshall and I were friends now, and that's the subject that came up, is things like the Austrian sources, the Austrian company sources, and the sources of the Norwegians and the Danes and the Germans who built the Douglas Road, the Miller family of Lillooet. Miller now. Jacob had run the ferry at where the bridge is now. Now the ferry to Parsonville, I don't know who ran that. I guess it would be a government record of a government license. You know, that kind of history about Lillooet's not been written. The details of who had which business and where has never been done. And I'm not understood in Lillooet. People are threatened by my interest in writing its history, but they don't understand how much of it is just research about who owned what and who made which decision to do this or that, you know. And the history of the Chinese and Lillooet is a great cryptic mystery. I'm hoping that my new friends, Mr. Guo and his son, they were fencing in the garage the other night, or going to fence, and I wound up talking history with them. I'm approaching the act. Supposedly there's eggnog and drink for Christmas Eve in there, but it's getting late. They might be closed already, unless it's that more public than that. But it's probably closed. So then I'll go to the bus loop and see if there's a bus home. I have to go around the mall anyway. So, but yeah, the reality is that, don't mind me, I'm just vlogging. Just a second here, I'll stop. Yeah, you have a good night, brother. You gonna have a cigarette with you?
Yeah.
I'll buy one off you. This section.